2011 Ultimate Builder Custom Bike Show in Novi, Michigan. We're talking with Steve Brown of Conceptual Imagineering. Steve, tell us a little about yourself, please.
I've been sketching out at the different shows, the custom motorcycle and the car shows, ever since I was a little kid, about 9 or 10 years old. My dad would take me around to the shows, and I'd bring a little chair with me and some pens, and I just started sketching, and I never stopped. Then when I went to college, I decided to get into design, and I went to college at the Center for Creative Studies for automotive design, and then I worked for a while at the General Motors Tech Center at the design staff in the studios. Currently, I've got a studio out of my house, and I go to the different car and bike shows, and I do illustrations of the bikes that are already done, and then I also do concept work for people who are building cars or motorcycles, and they want to see something visualized before it's actually created, so that they might have several different versions that they want and how they want it set up, and I can show them that in an illustration. So I can do both the pre-visualization, or showing what something looks like before it actually exists, or I can take and have something that's actually finished in front of me and do a fairly accurate representation of that in drawing form.
Steve, you're doing a drawing of Steve Broyle's Deuce's Wild Bike, which features a reverse flow inlet and outlet on the engine, and a Holley carburetor from a Dodge truck with a velocity stack on it, and the only bike I've seen with a plaid paint job. You're working on the mid-controls now for that. What's the next step that you're going to be doing, and tell us a little about your drawing.
Well, when I do an illustration like this, I usually block the whole thing out first. I'll start and do like the main volumes and the overall shapes, and then I go back and focus in on the different areas of the detail. And I'll concentrate on that, and I'll work on that, and then kind of move around. But I try and get everything set up and contained on the page at first. And this bike really attracted me because it's real unique. The glass intake that it's got on it, and the gold parts, and just the overall configuration of it caught my eye, and I decided that it was one that I definitely wanted to do a sketch of.
Well, certainly the rendition looks like the bike. Nobody's going to confuse it with any other bikes. You're working on the mid-controls now, and I noticed that you're using one of the very high-dollar pens that only artists will use. It's called Bic, is that correct?
Yeah, you can buy a pack of a dozen of them for about $1. A few years back I found that I just wanted to have some simple tool that I used that was inexpensive. I could bring a bunch of them with me, and that would be all I'd need. And so I wanted to develop a really nice technique with that, and so that's what I did. And I just, over a lot of years, been working on refining my technique so I can get all the different textures and tones with a ballpoint pen.
And you don't have to sharpen it either.
No, don't have to sharpen it. You don't have to worry about it breaking.
Steve, you've been working for the last 2 days on this. Have you got anything else you can show us?
Yeah, I do. Done about 5 or 6 so far this weekend. This is one of the bikes that I was working on yesterday. It had a flat black finish on it, and the alligator and snakeskin seat was a Harley Davidson. Then this one here, this is the one right next to me over here.
That's Giovanni's.
Yes, I just did that this morning.
Oh, you're fast.
And then that's the Hustler that's down a little further, and I did that yesterday. And then this is a lime green bike that has all sorts of skulls on it, and that's down the other aisle. And then this was like a companion bike. These are like 2 very similar bikes done with different paint schemes, and I did those. So that's just this weekend. So the sketches, illustrations take me about an hour and a half to do. With something with all the detail that a bike has, it takes just about an hour, hour and a half. Maybe if there's a real lot of details, 2 hours.
Steve, if somebody would like to get a hold of you, what's the best way to contact you if they would like some services?
Well, probably the best way is to either call me or by email. My email is stephenbrown413@hotmail.com. Or, you know, if I see him at a show or something, I can give him a card. It's got all my information.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.